it happen, a career in the performing arts, where we discuss how to break into the performing arts industry for yourself or your child, teen, or young adult. Guests include professionals who are passionate and share my vision of helping talented individuals land professional representation and have successful careers in the arts. My name is Leesa Csolak, and I was lucky enough to film and record this episode at the Bernard B. Jacobs Theater on 45th Street in New York City this past week. My guest is Outsiders cast member Kevin Csolak.
Here we are, Mom.
At the Jacobs Theater in New York City, the exciting theater where the Outsiders, the Tony Award winning Outsiders,
Yeah. The Tony Award
are
winning.
performing. The stage door is a little crazy, I have to say.
Stage door is always crazy, but it's beautiful to see so many people that are so affected by the show.
Yeah, for sure. So we're here to talk to Kevin about what he's been doing since the last time he's been on Broadway, a little bit of that, and a little bit about Outsiders and what it was like to participate in a Tony Award winning show.
Yeah.
So when was the last time you were on Broadway?
The last time was pre-pandemic. It was pre-pandemic right before March. We were just finished 3 months of West Side Story Broadway. At the Broadway Theater where The Great Gatsby's playing, where my brother, her other son, is currently performing. But we had done 3 months of previews, did about 2 weeks of shows, and then the pandemic hit and stopped. So it's been about almost 4 years, almost 5 years since I had performed.
Yeah, I actually have some notes so that I don't mess up my questions.
Right.
So yeah, it was 2020. And right before that, you had just gotten finished filming West Side Story, the movie, Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, right
Yep.
before that.
Yeah, the summer before I started for West Side Broadway was the film.
It feels a little bit like a blur, like these last 4 years, I think for everyone.
Yeah.
Because of the pandemic. But yeah. So what were you doing to keep yourself busy between then and now being back on Broadway after 4 years?
I mean, I think it's I think as performers, we have to kind of like, if you don't use it, you lose it in a way. I think I've heard you say that, and that's probably what I'm saying. But I think it ebbed and flowed. I think when the pandemic started, I think we were doing 3 months of previews, which you're doing rehearsals during the day, doing the show at night. So
And that was a lot.
it was a lot. So I think when the pandemic hit, I think the first month I was like, freedom. I don't have to move my body if I don't want to. But then it started with, I think you're, teaching for Star Maker over Zoom.
Oh, that's right. I forgot we did that.
Yeah, teaching for Star
That is
Maker
a
over
lot.
Zoom. Was there
We
only
were doing acting classes, acting for film and
Everything.
TV. We were doing a dance.
there was only a week that we weren't doing classes, and then we jumped in.
Yeah.
So jumping into that, I think was really great to just keep that muscle going, because I know a lot of performers who like didn't dance for like months and then like were like, wait, this is so like, I think when you monetize something that is something that you love, I think you can forget what it means to do it
Yes.
when it's not for an audition or for somebody.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I think it kind of ebbed and flowed for me. That kind of started me off. And then it was when I moved to LA to do Animal Kingdom
Oh, right.
in the summer of 2021.
Mhm.
I think I was taking class out in LA a little bit to keep my body in shape. I think just like growing up in dancing school, that's kind of my gym. I don't love to go to the gym, but going to dance class is kind of my gym
Yeah.
and where I can kind of feel where my body's at.
Yeah.
So I think it was just good old class.
Yeah.
I did take a ballet class one time, and the older woman who was teaching thought it was my first class ever. She goes, "This is your first class? Do you take sports?" And I was like, "Wow, I gotta get back to it."
Love it. Love it. So, I think it'd be interesting for everyone to hear about the whole process right after COVID, when things were still not even really fully open, when you were auditioning for Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
And what that process was like, because obviously the pandemic has shifted us into this space of everything is self-tapes now.
Yep.
And it's become a thing, which was on its way anyway, prior to that. I really kind
Yeah.
of saw the handwriting on the wall that was going to happen anyway. And pandemic just locked that
Pandemic locked it
stuff
down.
down.
And I think there's positives and negatives to self-taping, but yeah, I mean, it was just self-tape city.
You even did the chemistry read, if I recall.
Chemistry
on the
read,
self-tape.
Zoom. I think it was like I sent in a self-tape, and then I sent in another self-tape for a different character on Animal Kingdom, because I
right.
originally went out for Baz, got a tape for Pope, and then had a call back with producers, did the Zoom chemistry read, which is funny, thinking
Yeah,
like,
that
okay,
had to be
let's see your
interesting.
chemistry on Zoom. Which was weird, but I guess it went well. And then I had one final audition, and then they wanted me to fly out 2 days later to LA. And we were like, can you give us the weekend?
Yeah.
Because they wanted to start filming like this. It's crazy with TV and filming.
Yeah.
Unless I think you're like booking a series regular, or when you're doing a guest star or you're doing a recurring guest star, you can audition for something, and the next week you're in Vancouver, you're in Toronto, you're in
And
LA.
you guys had an apartment to try to empty and all the things. So yeah, I remember that now that you're talking about it, but yeah, that was exciting. So what do you think the big difference is between performing on, for TV and film versus, because you did that and now we're back on Broadway. So what is different about it for you?
Oh, I think it's one of those things where it's like everything's different, but nothing's different. I think the approach is different, obviously. With TV and film, I feel like everyone kind of goes into their own corners and does their homework, and then everyone comes together, and then you kind of have this beautiful mash of like, this is what I was thinking. Okay, what if I did it like this? And you're kind of like having to live in the moment, and you're holding your kind of emotions more close to your chest, right? Because the camera does so much for you. But Broadway and TV, I mean, or Broadway and the stage and theater anywhere, is like you get to find it with everyone. I think that's what I love. I think growing up in the dancing school, like being able to train with everyone, see people get better, see people like find a moment. I think that's what is so different. You kind of can come in day one with some ideas, but a little more raw. Whereas with TV film, you have to come in with like all the ideas, specific ideas on your character, but be malleable, and still be raw in a lot of ways. But then when you're on set, be able to be like, okay, we're just going for it. And every take be a little different. You have to be wary that you're not getting stuck in the same way of doing it, because the director might, your idea, or like to hold your shoulders a certain way or do this thing. They might be like, no, like my first day on Animal Kingdom, I was manipulating my voice in a certain way. And the first director on that first episode was like, you have to go like into a higher register, but keep the raspiness. So like right before we did a take, I had to just change it. And that's what was like set for the whole season.
Wow. Yeah.
Which is fun,
that's
but a
lot.
little bit like, because it's play, right? We're playing.
I know I like the stage. I like the space of being able to kind of share the ideas and then watch it all magically happen.
Yeah.
And work on it together, the collaborative side of it, that's what is super fun. Because I know you said to me, after you ended up back in the show.
Yeah.
First time I talked to you, you said you did not really remember how much you loved this.
Yeah, because it's been a while, been like 5 years, and like, I it's something that I'm so comfortable with. But like, yeah, when you're in the show, it's all the backstage things too that like people don't get to see.
Yeah.
You don't get to see it, like the things that we do, like the stage hands and the props, like the funny jokes we have, or like while everyone's like focused on one moment of a scene, we're back here like joking, or like that's what Broadway's really fun about. I think it's like you find so many connections, not just on stage but off stage.
Because you're with each other so much, because you're doing 8 shows a week.
That's how you get through it.
Right?
That's how you get through it.
It's like a family by
Yes.
the time you're done. So I get it. So, your first time back on Broadway, back in the show, how much time did they give you to prepare? Because wait,
Yeah.
everyone doesn't know what exactly happened. The show opened, like explain the beginnings
Yes.
and how you ended up in Outsiders.
So I did a workshop of The Outsiders last year, in August. There's a dance workshop I booked. I auditioned for that. And then the Broadway show came to be, and then I got a call about, I think, a week before this Outsiders opened, and someone got injured in the show, unfortunately, a good friend of mine. But they called me and they were like, we're thinking of you to come in just for 3 months while he's on his injury leave. Would you do it? And I was like, give me a day. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So I came in, I literally started my first day of like work was me just coming to the opening night to see it. I was a guest of the show. And then I think opening night was like a Sunday. On Tuesday, I was in rehearsals. I had 2 weeks. And then I started the show end of that second week.
That was fast.
I knew the show within like 2 months. I mean, that's just like a testament to like Milena Como, who was like the dance captain who taught me pretty much the majority of the show. And the socials have like kind of like 3 main numbers, but it's a lot of like more like moving a plank and different little things. So like it was about 3 days where I kind of was like, okay, I know the show. Am I ready to go on stage? Like if emergency, maybe. But the 2 weeks was a really good, like, okay, I felt so comfortable. Because it wasn't until like I was like, all right, curtains going up for that first show that I was like, man, I haven't done this in a while. This is exciting. And like, do I know what I'm doing? And luckily everything kind of fell into place.
Yeah.
I understudied Paul and Bob, and I've gotten to go on for Paul a bunch. I'm going on for Paul tonight. just found out, got her a ticket. Um,
And this is, you're gonna be your second
second
to
to
last
last
show.
Second to last show. I'm doing Paul.
Last show is tomorrow.
Great. And then I also understudy Bob, but they haven't leave for that. So
That's
yeah.
the reason why I'm here. And
Okay.
this all happened
Okay.
because of that last
Yeah.
show. All right, so Outsiders won the Tony, which was insanely exciting. Thank you for inviting me and letting me come and enjoy the excitement of all of that. That was amazing to be there and not in the theater because it was small and that was a thing, but I was at the party that they had, or the watch party where everybody watches, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
So you've been in the Tonys before,
Yes.
and I'd love you to talk about what it was like when you did it the first time and how this was different.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you've done it twice before, and this was the third
Yeah,
time.
it's third time.
So maybe talk a little bit about that experience of being in the Tonys the first time and how that felt because you were very young, right?
Yeah.
And then moving on to what happened next. And then with the Outsiders, three-part question. The preparation that went into that performance, because it was
Yeah.
definitely iconic. If
Yeah.
you've seen the Tonys, if you haven't seen it, go on YouTube and watch it because their performance was insane. So I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah, so the first performance I was able to do on the Tonys was Mean Girls, and it felt like kind of a shot in a barrel because I feel like I truly didn't really know what it was gonna be. But like you get dressed at your theater and then you are like rushing to, they put you in a bus and then you get right to the like outside the Tonys and you wait in the bus and then they usher you, they're like, all right, you're next, and they usher you to a stairway and then you're waiting in the stairway and then you go out there and you do it. And then they put you right back on the bus and you come right back to your theater.
Crazy how they do that.
People
Because
always-
do you warm up? Like, what do you?
You warm
you
up
warm up
here.
at the theater?
You warm up
So
theater.
you come to the theater, you put your costumes on, you get on a bus, you go over there and they just sit you on the bus and you wait on the bus and then you go in and perform?
And you do it twice that day. So there's a whole like there's like a sound check rehearsal where like the entire Tonys happens in the
right.
morning. So you like get to your theater at like 6 a.m. You do the whole thing, then you go to your matinee or you just go and then you don't have a matinee. So the first time was kind of crazy. I felt like I was just like I blinked and I was like, wait, it happened. So
I can imagine
that and that was great. And Mean Girls was fun. It was like, it was a vibrant cast. And the second time was performing last year on the opening number, which is a whole different experience because we were rehearsing at the venue up in Washington Heights. The day of, we got to get there early.
At the Palace.
At the Palace Theater. We had a rehearsal room and a dressing room. We got to rehearse. We ran through it once. We got dressed. We got to hang out, take pictures, and then we got to like walk down and prep in like the lobby to do that. So that felt it was so beautiful and different because we got to just kind of sit and be like, okay, here we go.
This is where we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then did you have like a sound check where the camera, because the camera work
we had
was so incredible.
Yeah, we had a sound check and
Was it
Carla.
just one run through with the camera people or was it something that took
We
time?
did,
How was that?
no, we had about an hour and a half of like camera sound check with that, and Carla Garcia, the choreographer, was amazing, and she made sure all the shots
She's
were exactly
incredible.
what she wanted. And yeah, so that was great because we got to kind of like just kick it off, and there was no air conditioning at the Palace; it broke, so it was really hot. So we were like waiting in the
I was
lobby.
there.
Yeah, you were there for that one. I was waiting in the lobby to go on, and I was like, I'm dripping sweat and I'm about to do this. So that was amazing. So I think coming into now the Outsiders one, I think I kind of knew like to like take the breaths and really take in the space. But the same thing happened where we had to come here, rehearse. We rehearsed for we had about 3 or 4 rehearsals with the cast in a rehearsal room before doing.
Was it with tech? With all of your tech and the
No,
floor,
that was
like-
just in the rehearsal room with
Okay.
but they did have the time. It's all about timing. You have like a 4-minute slot, and that includes the prep work of rolling out the mat
That makes
and
sense.
rolling out the little tarp. Like they had like a trough that caught the water. So the day of, it was kind of the same thing. Got here early, and had to go over there and wait in the bus and do the whole thing. But I think with this time around, I think I just kind of was able to take my time. I knew to just like be excited, but just take it one step at a time and know that it's something that we've done this 8 shows a week. It's nothing different. A lot of the times I think when these moments happen, you have to kind of have this like the butterflies happen, but you have to just kind of like settle in the groundedness of like, okay, how do I ground myself and just know that like I got this?
Mhm.
It's really just I feel like a flip of a switch in your brain of like, no, I got this, which is I think similar to what you do in auditions.
True. Yeah, true.
It's just tough because it's on a high level.
Well, you
But I
have to
think it's-
channel. My whole thing is I think you have to channel, it's energy, right? Because it's hormones that are running through your body when you are, let's call it nervous.
Yeah.
So if you can channel that energy into technique, into remembering your lines, into all the things that you've done a million times.
Yeah.
You have to mentally be able to put yourself there. And it's gotta be difficult because you are with all these different personalities, especially with outsiders, because the majority of this cast is young, you know?
Yeah, and it was a lot of everyone's first time, so it was like it was exciting to kind of see that and see all the nerves, but like this cast is really good about feeling each other, like and just like settling down, like feeling each other's energy and then like settling down and like taking meditative breath. Like on the bus ride over, we also took meditative breath together where we like breathed in for 4, we held for 5, and we breathed out. We all kind of like
Nice.
because we were all buzzing, we were like, but then when we got there, we actually got off the bus and we're waiting outside the venue before we walked backstage.
Mhm.
And we had a nice moment where like I started stretching and other people started stretching and we kind of like were going through some things.
Okay. Like a focus moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was crazy because like we got to theater to prep for the actual Tonys, and we got to theater at like 8 o'clock. The Tony started at 6:30 because we were the last performance.
Oh, right.
But it was amazing. I mean, it was thrilling. It was gorgeous to be at Lincoln Center. And I think we had a great time, and we did the
Yes.
thing.
Yeah, you did the
Yeah.
thing all right. And the
Yeah.
video that someone took back because you guys got on the bus, came back to the theater and then heard the announcement. So you must have been rushing. Were you rushing to take off your costume?
We-
Somebody took a video of all of you celebrating in the
Oh,
moment.
that was me. I took that video.
That you took the video.
Yeah, cut to the video.
Yes, we
uh,
can cut to the video.
Yeah, no, yeah, we were in the dressing room changing for the after party, and we were like, we were hoping we could like stay near the venue, but it's all protocol. So we were back here and we got in and I was taking off my shirt as they were announcing director. And then sure enough, we were sitting there and like half of the cast is like in the basement, half the cast is in the hair department. Like everyone's changing. Some people already changed. I was like halfway changed. And then all of a sudden we heard it. It was
Yeah, congratulations to
Thank
you and the entire cast.
yeah,
because
this cast.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, and I feel like I kind of got plugged into this cast and I kind of like grabbed the torch from Sean, who got injured, and like I feel like I just kind of like held his space and the hard work that he put in and the whole cast put in. And I think it's a beautiful show. I think this show kind of it takes the mold and kind of bends it in a different way and pushes it and expands it for as far as Broadway shows go,
Yeah,
but also holds true to what Broadway is and what musicals are.
I'm really happy that Sean is going back in.
So I was going back in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Coming back stronger than ever.
Yeah. Okay, so can you give us a speed read of a typical week in your life lately, in the life of Kevin Csolak? Typical week.
Typical week. Okay.
Yeah, like speed read.
All right, Tuesday, you wake up, you get breakfast, you go for a walk, you have a moment to read a book, you try to do a little yoga at the apartment. You come to the theater, have fight call, 5:45, do the show, go home, shower, watch TV, roll out, go to sleep. Next day, wake up as late as possible before having to go to a 2-show day. Waking up at like 11, leaving at 12, 2 shows, in between shows, taking a nap, or sometimes like watching cartoons with Bart or other guys in the show, between shows. Get a coffee or a Celsius, do the second show. And then, go home, same thing, watch a show, just get right in bed, try to pass out. Because the adrenaline's still going.
What if like after the show, don't you sometimes like go out with friends or something? Or
Not in the beginning of the week. That's the end of the week. We're getting there.
okay, end of the week.
End of the week.
Yeah, you
Wake up.
pace
Yeah.
yourself.
Wake
Okay,
up
go ahead.
Thursday. If we have rehearsal, I wake up, try to get a good breakfast in.
Okay.
Come to the theater. We have rehearsal. The theater's just like this with the work lights on, and we have understudy rehearsal, where we're either doing our own understudy work or we're helping vacation swingers or new people coming into the show.
Which can be exciting. I
Can be
think
very
it's exciting.
Can be very
Yeah.
exciting. It's fun. It's
Do you have
fun to- it's
themes?
fun to be into. A theme to put in sometime.
Okay.
I haven't done one yet because it's been a little more serious and getting in the job.
All right, continue.
So Thursday, we do the show Thursday, get out of the show Thursday. Thursday night, let's see if a friend comes to see the show. Maybe we'll go nearby and grab a quick drink, but I always try to leave wherever we are at like 11:30 just to get home, to sleep. Because like your adrenaline when you're doing a show is still pumping. So like I can't really sleep till 1:30 and then I wake up at like 10.
Yeah.
Wake up Friday, we have probably rehearsal again. If I don't have rehearsal, I try to like go out and do something in the world and feel like a person. Have some like, handhold all my life. The show Friday night's always a fun crowd. Friday night's always a tricky one. People always want to go out, or like people want to like you want to meet up. Friday night you got to go home. It's Saturday, two
So
shows.
it's good advice for new performers.
New performers, people are gonna want to go out, and it's fun. It is fun, but I think you have to know yourself. Some people, I know some people who do go out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and they're fine. They can do their job. I cannot. Know yourself. So Friday night, every once in a blue moon in New York, there's a beautiful, amazing dance night called Soul in the Horn, and it's like old. It's you feel like you're Soul in the Horn. Yeah, tag them.
Can I go there?
Totally, yeah, anyone can go.
Okay.
But it's like a dance night that starts at like 11 and goes to like 4 a.m. And like it feels like church for the dancer because everyone's just dancing. No one's like looking at each other's dance circles. So once in a blue moon,
I want to come and participate maybe this
Yeah.
much and then
sit and watch.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I do sometimes. But so once in a blue moon or Friday night, I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go do that because I need the release of that.
Mhm.
But mostly Fridays, go home. Saturday, 2 shows. Then Saturday night, same thing, wake up, matinee as late as possible, sleep between shows, Saturday. And then Saturday night is Snob, Saturday night on Broadway.
yes.
Yeah, most theaters, or a good amount of them, will be Saturday night on Broadway is like everyone goes and signs out the stage door at the end of the second show. And then we'll go up in the dressing rooms and we'll have a little drink. And it's just a moment, I think, for the cast to kind of cheers the week and be like, hey, we did this. It was a hard week. It was a great week, but it kind of connects us because, you know, a lot of times you don't see people until you're just like on stage with them. And you're like, all right, here we are, doing the same thing. So it's nice to connect with your cast and or even your crew too. The crew comes out for that, or the band. And it's nice to just connect with everybody.
Nice.
It's nice to connect with
Because
everybody.
of the separation with the performing, I could see
Yeah.
them going backstage. I was lucky enough to go backstage, which is always fun. If you can get a chance to do it at any show, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's where the band is, you don't really
It's hard.
can't interact
And
too
also,
much.
and also when 8 shows a week, you have to protect your energy. You know, you have to really make sure that you are giving yourself the space. Sometimes I come to the theater and I try not to talk to anybody just because I need my own space to be able to have the energy for the show. And then you wake up Sunday, hopefully not hungover, and you do the show. And then Sunday and Monday is truly just rest for me. Some people like to go out and do things. I'll try to like maybe do a dinner on Sunday or do something Sunday. So then Monday is just rest. Monday is laundry, clean the apartments. And then you just get up and you do it again. It's the little things that you try to do different every week of like, you know, going to a coffee shop and reading a book, or like you have to take it in like with small wins as far as doing a show.
Yeah, it's a schedule. It's a lot to do 8 shows.
It's tiring. My
It'd be nice to.
body is 28, 29 is different than doing
I
a
know,
show when you're 22
It's around the
in
corner
October.
in October. Yes, I remember that. 19 years as a Actors Equity member
Yeah,
and SAG
19 years.
AFTRA member. You're definitely seasoned at this point. How does it feel to be this age and have so much experience? Like, do
it
you note
feels-
that at all? Like when you're at auditions or like with
I
other
think
people, do you feel like you've got it together?
I think I know. Do I feel it? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I feel like I feel it in the moments of the Tonys or the moments of like the pressure of final callbacks or the pressure of opening night. I'm kind of like, I think that's where my body kind of can click into like, I got this.
Mhm.
Because I think it's just been a repetitive thing for so
Yeah.
long. Not like there's been so many Broadway opening nights, but it's just like,
Yeah.
I think I'm just kind of like, no, I trust myself. I was born to do this. But I don't know, because I sometimes like, 19 years, but like I think the first like 8 was a lot of you, I think, kind of guiding me along and
Yes,
you
of
kind of being the one and me just kind of having a good time
You were having a good time.
and training and doing the right things. And it was tough. It was tough.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Oh, it
Let's
was
talk
tough.
about that for the parents out there. You're
For
thinking
parents.
about doing this. Yeah,
I mean,
you
it's,
do have to be as a parent, like middle management, because when they're children and teens, you don't want to share with them what's going on behind the scenes. You just want to let them have fun, like Kevin said, let them have a good time.
but also
and-
no one to tell them to keep going.
And that too, especially if you know that they have the talent, and you will know, parents, you will know. Trust me, you will know if they're driving that bus, you do have to let them drive it, but there are times with,
I think I think I think I think like I think when you first start out, it's a lot of like you want to try to get yourself out there and like I think it's like any job when you first
Yeah.
get a job in any field. I think if you want to be that good student and like show up and stay late and do all the things. But like when there's a thing that happens, where you're like, okay, this is important life thing to experience.
yes,
Go to the football game with your
Yes.
friends
yes,
Because-
absolutely.
because as actors, we want to be able to have a balance if you can.
Yeah, and that's what's tough to balance because you never know when the audition is coming, you never know when the callback is coming, so you have to kind of like, you're saying, Kevin, take advantage of.
And it always happens
Those
when you're supposed to go on vacation or something, you know?
Yes,
You're
yes.
supposed to like go, or
Yes.
you're to the prom, and then you're like, well, am I gonna go to the audition? Just self-tape.
Do the self-tape, at least now it's self-tapes. I think there's a big difference because
Way
when you were
easier.
young, and Kevin started, for those who don't know, when he was 10, he was signed to representation and immediately was doing everything, film, television, commercial work, voiceover, Broadway, all of it happened very, very quickly. You can look them up and find out what that's all about. But yeah, it's definitely a balance and it's important to live your life and all of that. But then again, too, you have to consider what the auditions are and what the importance is and understand what is important about the industry
Yeah.
as you're going through that process.
Yeah, 'cause
So,
if you decide not to go to the audition, someone else is.
yes, yes.
It's just, you know,
Mhm.
and that's okay. Some people don't even want to do it. They want to wait till college. and
Yes,
have that
absolutely.
thing.
There's nothing wrong with
But
that.
then when you go to college, you put your grind. And you go
Yes,
go.
yes. You definitely have to put the time in.
It's a tough thing. You gotta really love it. You
And
gotta really-
as you do,
I think
as
so.
you found out, you think so.
Today,
You
what
just-
day is it?
Yeah, what day?
Today's Saturday. I love it.
Today you
Talk to
go.
me Wednesday.
You have been able to gracefully transition from being a child performer who was quite successful and through the teen years, which the teen years many times are a difficult time and you continue to work during that time. And now you're an adult and you're able to still do that. And that's very unusual in this industry. I don't know if you understand how unusual that is, but it is very unusual. And both you and your brother were capable of doing that. So I have, now that you're a successful adult, can you give us your advice for someone who is starting out after, say, a collegiate program and they're just going into the industry? Like what kind of just general advice might you have for them? Or specific, something specific. And it also, of course, it's going to depend on whether their focus is Broadway versus film and television, or if they're trying to do all of it.
Yeah.
It kind of a lot of times, and I can say this from experience with many clients over the last 2 years who are adults, they feel like sometimes they're falling off a cliff. Like they've gone through high school and they've done all their musicals and they've done their training. Some of them are competition dancers and they've taken voice lessons and they have all of this experience. And then they go to college into a collegiate program and things get a little bit maybe heady in those spaces and sometimes not, but that's part of the academia. And then they get out of school and sometimes they're lucky enough to get an agent, get professional representation through their collegiate program their senior year, but many are not, and they feel like they fall off a cliff and that there's nothing for them and they don't know which way to turn and what to do. So in that regard, any advice that you have for that person who's just getting out of school and needs an agent?
I mean, I think the falling off a cliff thing I can relate to. I think anyone in this industry can. I mean, I feel like I was falling off a cliff before this happened. I truly like the accounts were low and I was I was about to grab the day job, which I've done before, and I think that's one thing. Don't be above that. Like I think it's always like get that settled, have the side thing. And I worked at a restaurant for a while, just to not have to worry about rent. Because I think when money becomes a factor, and then you're kind of gripping at auditions, you're gripping at things, and you're making it into this big thing because of the money, it just makes it tough. So that's one thing. One thing that Danya Tamor, the director of this musical, gave out a talk back that I love. I'm giving it to everyone else now. Is like find the specificity in what you love about the art form that you're going into, and really develop your taste. So, what kind of Broadway shows do you like? Do you like all of them? Like, but do you like Sondheim, or do you like kind of the golden age? Like, what are your things? And for TV and film, or for like even for plays, like just find the writers that you like. I think agents a lot of the time they want people who they can feel confident in. And if you go into an interview with someone, you're like, I want to do this. I want to be a video game voiceover actor, and I want to do this. I want to do this kind of Broadway. It just helps. They're still going to send you out on everything, but it helps them to be like, oh, this is Kevin, and he wants to do this. Like he's a really good physical actor and dancer who can sing as well. Okay, like The Outsiders kind of fits perfectly for me with the fight choreography. But I think it just helps give a direction and also give a direction for you when you want to start creating things on your own. You know, when you love it all, that's great. But then, like, what do you really love about it? And what's your style and taste? Because, if you feel like the doors aren't opening for you, then make your own door. We're in a social media age
Yes.
where like there's people who are booking Broadway shows who have never went to school for this, but they're kind of these TikTok or Instagram famous actors or singers who've just been doing it in their bedrooms, but because they have another cloud of that, they get pulled into this. And that's also a whole nother grind that I can't even really get into, that I have some friends who do, that I respect fully. But I think, yeah, really hone in on your taste and what you really like, because I think that'll just help everyone else help you when you're trying to get into this industry, and might help keep you sane. But also, yeah, don't let the ego be too good for a day job.
As a seasoned performer, while you're in shows,
Yeah.
you're talking about trying to, keep the jobs coming as things are moving through.
If you're interested in a career in the performing arts for yourself or your child, teen, or young adult, you're in the right place, because I have helped hundreds of clients break into the performing arts business on stage, in films, television, commercial work, and more. This podcast is supplemental to my groundbreaking online courses. For more information, check all the ways you can benefit from my online courses, my how-to videos, webinars, in-person seminars, and free guides. Go to lbctalent.com for everything you need to get started today.
And maybe talk a little bit about how you have auditions being thrown at you by the agents and managers while you're in another project, while you're involved in another project, whether that's like Animal Kingdom and you're still having to do self-tapes, blah, blah, blah. Maybe talk about that a little bit and what that's like, because I don't think everyone understands how that works. Because your agent and your manager, they only get paid a commission when you are booking things, and they're going to try to curate your career. They're going to try to help figure out exactly what you're saying, finding that niche that's going to be a happy place as well as match with their talent and ability, because you could love something, but if your talent and ability doesn't fit into that space, and they're going to either help make sure that you're heading in that direction or guide you that way. They're also going to make suggestions regarding training, that type of thing. You want to also be open to new instructors and new teachers that might be available to you as you move through the business. But I think talk and touch a little bit about that self-tape space that happens while you're doing something else.
Yeah, I mean, like, you think that, like, when you're trying to juggle a day job and then do a self-tape is annoying, and then like you do a show where you're doing 8 shows a week and you're like, okay, now I have to wake up before this 2-show day and do a self-tape. It just, I don't know, it really just tests you. I think it just tests your work ethic. It tests, like, I think this industry just does that. It's just like over and over again. It just feels like when you're like, oh, now I have this and now I can chill. It's like, no, here's another thing that just like reinstills the same kind of work ethic challenges.
Because here's the thing, there are people out there who are, just starting out, who are young adults, whatever, or older adults just wanting to do this. And they're like hanging on that one self-tape that they get. And that they, that they're loving every minute of it, because they're acting, they're playing a character, you're having to analyze the script and do all of that. So you're performing when you're auditioning in that way, you're doing your thing. But I think like when you're busy, then it makes it a little bit more difficult to fit it in. But once you fit it into your schedule, once you block your schedule, how does it feel for you when you're actually doing the work?
Then it's
is
great.
it fun, exciting to do once you're in it?
I sometimes I throw myself under the bus sometimes, because if I don't put in the work prior to the time that I have to do the tape, then I'm frustrated through the tape because I'm pushing through this thing that I didn't prep for.
That makes sense.
Which sometimes is like, fine, let's just take 2 hours and just go for it. But I think if you really just go, okay, I sent the tape in, I have to get it even in like 2 or 3 days. Okay, that means right now I'm gonna sit down and read it 5-10 times. And I'm gonna write it out. I'm gonna, like, I think through the coaches I've worked with, it's like, find the play in the training or in the work, in like the preparation for this tape. Like, because I think the moment that, like, I think even every night that I find in doing the show is like, we're doing this we're doing this thing that's so serious. It's Broadway. It's like the highest level of this thing, this theater, in the world. But at the same time, as seriously as you can take it, it's also fun. Like we're playing dress up. Like we're just like
Yeah.
we're literally just playing dress up. Like there's not too much different. And I think that childlike quality is where you kind of have to ride that line.
Mhm.
And I think trying to ride that line, even with self-tapes, and like it can be self-tapes are hard because you have to find a reader with that's someone that wants to be there and like, but I think the more fun you can have with it when you do the prep work, and the prep work for someone might be just like reading it and being like, all right, let's just try it. And that could be fun. Or the prep work is like you memorize it days before and you have that time. You have to find it and know it. But yeah, I think it's a balancing act, but I think that's where I think you can lead yourself in a kind of slow, steady cruise to keep yourself going, is just that play and have fun with it. And okay, I did it like that. Let me try it like this now. Let me like completely, all right, we were this, maybe if I whisper the whole scene, like just keep yourself ebbing and flowing in that play. I think is where the longevity comes. And also knowing when you're like, no, I can't do this self-tape. I need to like hang out with a family member or a friend and like go watch a movie and get inspired again.
Yeah.
Because the inspiration, you need to stoke that inspiration.
So favorite moment as a child actor, what do you recall?
Okay, three things really quick. Grinch, I vividly remember, like, I don't know if it was one of my last shows when I was bowing. I remember like looking to my right and my left and we were on that arch and like seeing one of the older cast members and just like seeing them smile at me. I remember that. I remember greeting my family outside of the theater at Grinch, Nanny, and like it was just when the whole family came to see me in my Broadway show. It just like was like, right, this is what it's about, is the family aspect of it and the support and like the getting there. And then Wintuck, Cirque du Soleil, turning around, and when you reminded me of this, of like the director told me to like bow to the stage or to the audience and then turn around and bow to the cast, my last show. And that was just really, I remember watching the video back and I did it so fast, but it was a beautiful thing. It just like it brought my heart to my throat. Yeah.
How about as a teen? What do you remember when you were a teen? That would have been
I think the team was Boardwalk Empire meeting Steve Buscemi. I think as far as celebrities that I had met, like I knew a lot of people, but he was someone where I was like, oh, I know who you are.
Yeah.
I think as a child actor, a lot of the times, like I'm just having fun. I'm
Yes,
like,
that's
who
very
is that?
true.
And you're freaking out. And I'm like, I don't know. Hi.
Yeah.
And then I would go like to the crafty table and get snacks. And you're like, I'm sorry, my kid, but you're amazing.
Yeah.
I think he was the first person that I was like 16, 17 when I met him. And I was like,
Yes.
sir, it is nice to meet you. And
Yeah.
thank you very
Yeah.
much.
See, it's
I had
crazy.
one or two things.
I remember sitting next to him and going, I needed to get something for you and going to Crafty. And I said to him, do you want to get me something? And he had me get him a candy bar or something.
Yeah,
I was
there
like,
you go.
what is happening?
Okay.
Yeah,
We all need a mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is true. And then as an adult.
Finishing the opening number for the Tonys and like the entire United Palace Theater jumping to their feet, that was crazy. Because also a lot of people who were in that were from the West Side film.
Okay.
The West Side film, the audition, Steven Spielberg saying I gave him chills. And he goes, he's in the final audition, he went, I was singing Jet Song. And he went, well, I believe him. He gave me chills. And then the lead producer went, yeah, I believe him too. So that was pretty
That was
crazy. Also just doing Krupke, filming that with Steven Spielberg was everything, and like shaking his hand like before we started that whole week of shooting, and at the end of it, you meeting him on sets. I
That
remember
was
that.
incredible.
I remember him like whispering something in your ear and me
Yes.
just being like,
He was talking to
Wow.
me about you, and so was Janice. Janice was also
yeah,
mentioned a few things, and that was very exciting. He's very
Yeah.
kind.
yeah. So those things, and I think, and then this show, I think I'm sure that from tomorrow doing the last show here is really gonna like hit me. Getting rained on in the rain, doing the rumble, but
Yeah.
but yeah, those things. There's always like flashes of things, but I think whenever someone's going on as like for the Broadway debut, we always just say like take a breath and just take yourself out of it for 1 second and just take it in, whether it's someone looking at you or it's the seats, like just like take yourself out of it
So you can remember the moment.
because it will blink, it will slap you in the face, and you'll be like, what happened?
Very cool.
Yeah,
It's exciting to
yeah.
have to just have all these exciting moments that you don't expect.
I'm all here because of this lovely woman.
Yes.
Because of the passion and love that you ushered into, it's so funny coming to all these Broadway shows and auditioning for things. I'm like, oh, this is what this song's from. Because we just be like listening to that in the house, or like
Right.
you've been teaching to that at a dancing school.
Well, it was crazy because you were like 5. I was doing a lot of choreography, and you knew all of the music between age 3 and 5. You knew every single show that I was working.
Yeah.
You knew all the songs just from me playing it in the car and playing it at the school and doing the choreography.
Solos,
You
teaching
knew-
solos, Brianna Mastral solo to Life at the Party.
Oh yeah, you had
That
no
one.
idea what that was from.
No. Or like don't tell me not to live, just sit and butter from Funny Girl. And then Kurt
Shout out to
Kurt doing that. Kurt.
It's incredible. It can happen.
It really can. It's tough. It's difficult. It takes a family, but like,
Yes, takes a lot of
it
support.
takes a lot of support. But like, if you love it, just keep loving it. And like, it's not a linear journey. It never is.
no.
So falling off a cliff might be the best thing to kind of bounce back up,
True.
because there's lessons in that, you know. And
Yeah.
next time you do something where you have to do a role where you're feeling hopeless or you're feeling like you're falling off a cliff, you know exactly how to do it.
Yeah, it's so true. That's so
We
true.
steal from life, you know. Good acting is good living.
Yeah. So have a great
Thanks
show.
for watching. I know I'm gonna be 2 more performances on that stage right there,
Yeah, it's
and you're gonna be seeing both of them.
I know I'm gonna see both of them. And tonight you're going on for the one of the lead socias, and then tomorrow,
Tomorrow will be the last show.
yeah, last show, and then on to the next thing.
Tune in next time for the next thing.
Yeah, for the next.
Who knows?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kat.
Yes, I love you. I love you. I love you.
Good night.
Do you have to do a sign off or anything?
No, I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Thanks for watching the Making It Happen, a Career in the Performing Arts podcast. Tune in on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you'd like to connect with Kevin, go to kevincsolak.com. And you can follow him on socials at Kevin Csolak. Need more info and details about the professional performance industry? Visit lbctalent.com and schedule your free no obligation consultation. And follow me on socials at Leesa Csolak _LBC Talent. By sharing our stories, we can help talented individuals land the career of their dreams. If you're enjoying this podcast, please like and subscribe below and hit the bell for notifications.